that okay? Thank you for coming and joining us.
I am
Very excited to have you.
happy to be here.
Awesome. So we've got a couple fun questions. You heard a lot about safety already, so I was curious. You've made 2026 the year of housing. How does that initiative intersect with downtown specifically? Whether that's affordability, density, new developments?
Yeah, so can everybody hear me well? Okay, very good. So, yes, I did declare 2026 to be the year of housing here in Milwaukee, and I think there are a lot of intersections that happen with downtown here. As a matter of fact, just a couple weeks ago at least, I'm not sure the time ago, but the Alderman and I were at an announcement for, I think, a pretty phenomenal development that is proposed to come to downtown over the course of the next number of years. And that's a development by New Land Enterprises, a structure similar in size to the Ascent mass-story timber tower that's downtown here on Kilbourne Avenue, just right across the street to the south. And it will be condominiums, the first such development in the city of Milwaukee in about 20 years. Over at Deer District, right now there is a development that's going on by Jay Jeffers and Associates. That's a partnership with Milwaukee Area Technical College as well. It'll bring over 200 units of housing to downtown Milwaukee. So there are a number of housing developments that are happening right now. We have worked over the course of the last year or so to introduce new tools to help for more housing to come into the city as well. And so at 100 East Wells, which is a 35-story office tower that has since really been hollowed out. A lot of the businesses had moved out of there during the pandemic as they were downsizing. So what it presented was an opportunity to have the chance for us to work with the private sector to breathe new life and a new identity into that building. So now there's, I believe, over 350 units that will be going into that building, and they use some of the new tools that we created in my administration working alongside the council in order to create those new housing opportunities downtown. So there's a lot of things that are happening all across the city, but those are some specifically happening in downtown Milwaukee.
Very cool. My next question is, how does downtown fit into your broader vision for Milwaukee's economic growth? And what's the city doing at a policy level to keep us thriving?
So downtown is really is. I mean, if you go across the United States, you go to any city, you're going to be sold on their downtown, right? The postcard that you get very likely is going to be a picture of their skyline. Is very likely going to be a picture of their downtown. And over the course of the last number of years, we have all gotten to understand and know the importance, the value of downtown. It's about 3% of the city's total land mass, but accounts for about 25% of the total tax base of the city of Milwaukee. So what happens downtown is uniquely important to the city of Milwaukee all across the board, because what's generated here allows us to be able to make sure we're supporting services in other parts of the city of Milwaukee. So what happens here is really, really important. So I will tell you that my time as mayor, and not just as mayor, but as city council president and alderman, I've always kept an eye out for what happens downtown because I know the value, right? I've seen it when I was representing a district on the northwest side of the city about how investments that happen here are a benefit to outlying areas of Milwaukee. So just a couple of things in my time in City Hall. Pfizer Corporation, right? They were in suburban Brookfield. They were looking for a new place to call home. We've got a very large office presence in Atlanta. They've got a large office presence in Omaha as well. Their CEO tends to sit out east in New York, New Jersey. They were looking for a new home, and I said, I don't want them to go to one of those other places. I want their global headquarters to stay in Wisconsin. I want them in Milwaukee. And we work very diligently, we work very closely with Pfizer, and their world headquarters is in downtown Milwaukee. You look at what's happened at what's now Bell Phillips, which would be 4th Street, Bell Phillips in Wisconsin. The city's owned that land for since the 80s, I believe. And we worked together over the course of the last number of years to finally get some activation there with Bell Phillips Plaza. Now, there's still an opportunity to have development on the south end of that for some sort of development. I don't know exactly what that will be at this moment, but we're hopeful that we'll still see some other development that happens there. When I was on the council I served on the Wisconsin Center District Board. We took a very courageous vote, I think, at the time, to expand our convention center, to make sure that we are not falling behind our peer cities across the United States. I can tell you that I am a member of the United States Conference of Mayors, so I get the opportunity to travel across the country and see the venues that other cities have and the facilities that other cities have. And I can tell you this, that what we have now in Milwaukee is really, really special. It really, really is. And if you have not had the opportunity to go inside the Barrett Center, especially the expanded part, you should. And compare that if and when you go to other convention centers across the country, and you will see that we have something special here. And I've also come to see and understand too that if cities fail to make these sort of investments, if cities fail to update their facilities, that's how you end up getting passed over for opportunities. And so now, with the investments that we've made there, downtown Milwaukee in our convention center has been a place that's pulled in conventions, much like the Republican National Convention that we hosted in 2024. That opened up the doors for other conventions to see Milwaukee that otherwise may not have considered us in the past. And that's creating more opportunities for more convention goers to come to Milwaukee, to stay in Milwaukee, to visit Milwaukee, sometimes come back on vacation to Milwaukee, and ultimately to generate folks who are creating new spending in our city too, which is ultimately good for our budgets, the county's budget, state's budget, and so forth and so on. So there's a lot of things that are happening there. There's a lot of cruise activity that's happening in Milwaukee too. I mean, they're getting off at Port Milwaukee, but a lot of those folks end up venturing into downtown Milwaukee for restaurants and other entertainment as well. So we have been working over the course of the last number of years to grow that industry, to grow hospitality and tourism here in Milwaukee. So all these things are super important. We are keeping a firm eye on all those things and making investments where we possibly can in order to make sure that downtown Milwaukee stays strong, yes, but that the city stays strong. And when downtown is strong, then the balance of the city is strong too.
Great. I'm happy to continue asking questions, but if you want to give me a little, I'll come over with the Ted mic. Anyone? Hey, Johnny. I was about to say lucky me.
Since you already talked about this being like a year of housing, maybe you could just touch on Milwaukee's kind of shift in focus from these luxury high-rise apartments to workforce housing and what the city's doing to kind of promote that.
Yeah, so the 100 East Wisconsin project, the 35-story tower that I was talking about, that's in partnership with the private sector and us for workforce housing. And so essentially what we've done is see that when folks are graduating from college, right, these young professionals that you want to retain, or young retain that go on to some of the other hotbed cities, we want to retain those folks in Milwaukee. The problem is, right, when they get that first job out of college, everybody tends to think that they're okay, right? They don't need any help, they don't need support, they need support. And that's really not the case, right? And so for us, what we said is like, how can we work with the private sector to spur more development, particularly in workforce housing, using tools that are very similar to affordable housing, but except for that next higher tier. And so that's an example of that's going on right now. There are other developments across the city, I think in the Bayview neighborhood and some other places as well, where we're making those investments in growing new units of housing in the city of Milwaukee, especially for those folks who are in the workforce. So we always have had a commitment to affordable housing, that hasn't changed, but now we have expanded that to make sure that we're capturing this other set of the population, these young professionals who are just graduating from college and things like that and want to live here. An example of that is over at Milwaukee Tool. So in Milwaukee Tool, they've got about 4,000 or so employees in the state of Wisconsin. About 1,500 or so of those employees live here. And when I've talked to the executives over at Milwaukee Tool, they want to live in the city of Milwaukee. They want to be here. But unfortunately, because of the challenges that we face, the challenges that communities all over the country face in terms of housing, these young people, these young professionals have unfortunately had to migrate to other places in order to find housing. Some of them are going all the way down to Racine County. And to me, like, maybe I'm selfish in this way, but I want it all. Right? I want the businesses, and I want their residents too. I want their workers to live there too. And so we've already got the Milwaukee tool here. We worked on doing that when I was in the council as well here too. I want to find a way to make sure that we're attracting and retaining those employees here in the city. And why so? Because those folks who have expendable dollars, they end up supporting the businesses. They help to support jobs here. They spend money here. When they spend money here, that goes into our coffers with our sales tax, which helps us to support things like public safety, like fire, and police, and the like. So those are the reasons why we're doing that, and that's a new tool that we just started implementing over the course of last year.
I worked at UWM, and I went to UWM back around 97, 2000, and I worked for the Dean of the College of Engineering. He developed a breast cancer imaging system that does not use radiation, but it doesn't get a lot of publication. And he was working on it in 2010 here in Milwaukee. He helped at one of the hospitals here to continue to develop it, but when I checked up on them again, they moved to Chicago. Now, this is a breast cancer imaging system without radiation that would help all the women of this state. It was developed at a state institution. Most of it was developed here in Milwaukee, but it has since moved to Chicago. What can you do to bring back businesses and technology like that to Milwaukee?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's a great question. And I mean, first of all, I think that technology sounds pretty fantastic.
It is.
Yeah,
It's state of the art. It's revolutionary.
Yeah,
It surpasses what most women go through. There's no squishing and squashing. Women will understand that. After surgery, they just wand it to check and see if anything's left. It's the state of the art, but I couldn't get news media when I reported to them to cover it at all. And that's something that could be a pearl sitting here in downtown Milwaukee.
yeah, especially if, as you said, developed at University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Yes.
You know, a lot of that research development happened here. That's something that we should be trying to
And,
retain.
and was that one of the hospitals where they did all of the, what do you call it, clinical stuff? But when I followed it, it moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
So why should the people south of the border get what everybody else's tax dollars here supported?
I agree. I'm interested in trying to poach some of the jobs and corporations from there to get them, here to Milwaukee.
Well, there's a company, Novascan.
Well, I appreciate that. We're always interested in talking to more businesses, different businesses, and having them move into Milwaukee. We have a set of tools that we can use to help businesses. We would be interested in deploying those tools if and when necessary, in order to get that business growth and have, not just the business, but also the employees, the talent that comes here to join in that as well. So that's
Yeah.
something I would like to have a conversation.
Yeah, as a student, it was hard to pay for everything in Milwaukee and go to school and work on the side. So I know as a student how hard it is to pay for everything while you're going to school. So yeah, that would have been nice help back then.
Elephant in the room, 794, comments recently. You said you wanted to let the study play out and see all the data before reaching a
When?
conclusion.
Oh, okay.
Up until this point, DOT has mostly studied